What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a head-to-head battle between a Venator class Star Destroyer and an Imperial I-class Star Destroyer. Let's get into it. The shining symbol of the Galactic Republic fleet, the Venator class Star Destroyer. It was meant to halt the expansion of the Separatist movement across the galaxy. The Imperial I-class Star Destroyer, a massive, heavily armored capital ship created for one purpose: maintain order, whatever the cost. These two ships, while similar in design, both being created by Kuat drive yards, feature drastic differences both in their size and functionality. Let's get into some of the characteristics of both cruisers, and then we will talk about what would happen in a head-to-head. The Venator class Star Destroyer was created to serve the Republic during the Clone Wars, and oftentimes referred to as a Jedi cruiser. These ships were versatile in both rescue, escort, and assault missions. This vessel had a crew of 7,400 and could hold an additional 2,000 troops. Weapons consisted of 8 heavy turbo laser turrets, 2 medium dual turbo laser cannons, 52 point defense laser cannons, 4 proton torpedo tubes, and 6 tractor beam projectors. But what made this vessel special was its ability to transport starfighters. The Venator was capable of carrying 420 fighters total, usually 192 V-Wings or V-Torrent starfighters, 192 ETA-2 Actis-class interceptors, and at least 36 ARC-170s, as well as LAAT gunships. Most notable on the Venator was the long dorsal flight deck, which allowed for rapid deployment of its fighters. However, this flight deck also left the Venator vulnerable during deployments. The Imperial I-class Star Destroyer. During the reign of the Empire, much was considered for the next Star Destroyer. It needed to be larger than the Venator, 40% larger in fact. It needed to have thicker armor, more turbo lasers, and the ability to overwhelm any rebellious planets. The Imperial class Star Destroyer is the best example of the type of military the Empire had turned into: cold, powerful, and imposing. A single Star Destroyer had a crew of 9,235 officers and 27,850 enlisted. It could carry 9,700 stormtroopers and a full wing of 72 TIE ships, usually including 48 TIE fighters, 12 TIE bombers, and 12 TIE boarding craft, as well as a range of attack and landing craft. An Imperial Star Destroyer had 60 Time and Bach XX-9 heavy turbo laser batteries, 60 Borstal NK-7 ion cannons, and 10 Pylum Q-7 tractor beam projectors. These turbo lasers allowed the Star Destroyer to completely obliterate any planet's surface. What would happen if a Venator and Imperial class Star Destroyer engaged in a head-to-head conflict? First off, let's set up the scene. A lone Imperial I-class Star Destroyer patrols a sector of unknown space, fully armed and ready for whatever the Expanse has to throw at it. Proximity alarms blare as the lieutenant shouts to the commander, "Unknown vessel exiting hyperspace." In the far distance, a Venator-class Star Destroyer drops out of hyperspace. Both ships complete scans on opposing cruisers and engage. The Venator opens its long dorsal flight deck, unleashing its 420 fighters flying in various squadrons and attack patterns. In response, the Imperial Star Destroyer launches its TIE fighters, despite being outnumbered. They are used as a distraction as the Imperial cruiser closes the distance on the Venator. Dogfights light up the black abyss as TIEs get picked off by V-Wings and ARC-170s. The Republic cruiser, seeing the massive Imperial Star Destroyer close in, sets its reactors to its highest output and engines to full. Maneuvering at a 45-degree angle to its opponent, the Empire fires its heavy turbo lasers on the smaller Star Destroyer. Shields take the brunt of the assault, but not for long. Returning fire, but with little effect, remaining Republic fighters engage the Imperial Star Destroyer, drawing some of its fire from their Venator destroyer. Turbo lasers struggle with locking on to the many Republic fighters as they launch proton torpedoes and ion missiles, picking away at the shields of this massive cruiser. The Venator, shields depleted, endures a barrage of laser fire from the heavy cannons. Reactors overheating and systems failing, starfighters engaged with the Imperial destroyer watch as their cruiser breaks apart and explodes into a massive fireball. With full batteries engaged on the fighters, they are quickly overwhelmed. Suffering substantial damage but nothing critical, the Imperial-class Star Destroyer scans for life forms. reports the attack to Imperial Fleet Command, and disembarks for repairs. Obviously, we know that the weapons and armor of the Imperial destroyer is too much for a Venator destroyer. I think it would be interesting to see these two iconic Star Destroyers engage in combat. While the Republic relied heavily on starfighters during its campaign against the CIS, the Empire learned from the Republic's battles and worked with Kuat to develop a Star Destroyer that could engage in more ship-to-ship combat rather than starfighter combat. I do think that 2 or 3 Venators could get the upper hand on an Imperial Star Destroyer, but let's be honest, the Empire wouldn't take long to send reinforcements to crush its enemies. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have an amazing day. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. May the Force be with you.